Hello, everybody. Wanted to bring you another quick market update for this month. The numbers we're talking about are August of 22, and there are a couple of things that are starting to look a little different than what we're used to seeing. So let's dive right in. When we look at the sales price, right? Nothing too dramatic here. We typically see a little turn down after the summer months of sales price on the overall average. But the first thing that sort of caught my attention is the number of closed sales has dropped pretty dramatically. If you look at June of this year, 9,500, July 8,100, August 7,300. Normally we don't see that big of a drop off. So back in 20, right, 10,000 in June, 11,000 in July, August still had 10,000 last year, right? June 11,000, 10,000, still at 10,000 in August. So to drop July and August, some 30% off the peak number of the summer, that's not typical. We have drop-offs, but they usually don't happen until, later in the year, January. So that's something to note. Days on market, we're not seeing huge changes, but we're continuing to see an upward tick. So this is the median days on market, 7 or 11, the average 7 to 19. Months of supply, we've talked about this number before, right? We're holding steady at 2.1. It's not a crazy number, right? It's still a seller's market, but it has gone up significantly from where it was at the sort of 2-year low point, and it's continuing to stay up. One other thing that I wanted to talk about was percentage of list price. So list price to sales price ratios, whether we're looking at the medians or the average, 99.5. It's still high. It's still a very high number, but it has come down considerably. So what does all of that mean? Okay. I think the market is shifting, right? People have been asking me the question over and over again, when's the bubble? When's it going to crash? All that kind of stuff. And so now those people are going to start saying, oh, this is what we were talking about. It's going to crash. I don't think it's going to crash. I still don't think it's going to crash, but shift. Absolutely. We are starting to see the effects of the rising interest rates. Today, interest rates were up at 6.5, which is pretty high relative to where they were. Those are reasonable interest rates. The 30-year average is like around 7 or 7.5. So we're still below that. Rates were at 8% when I got in the business 20 years ago. So it's not a crazy number, but comparing it to like 2.5 from just a year or two ago, it seems like a big jump, because it is. So momentarily, that would sort of explain maybe why total number of sales are down low, right? Because people are interest rate sensitive, they're price payment sensitive. It's also going to explain why we're starting to see some pullbacks on list price to sales price ratios. We're not seeing the multiple offer situation. The conversations we're starting to have with sellers in our pricing strategy. So if you're thinking about selling right now, very important thing I'm going to talk about right now. Over the past 7, 8, 9 years, there was a different game we played, right? We played strategic pricing to maximize traffic, drive multiple offers, get the number up, and then modify the terms when representing sellers to create the best scenario for the seller. That ship has sailed. I'm not saying it's impossible to get multiple offers. It still happens. But we are having a lot of conversations with sellers right now about how we need to be cognizant of not leaving money on the table. And that's not something I've said in 10 plus years, right? In fact, probably it was 2004, 2005 before we had a don't leave money on the table conversation. I can bore you with the stories between now and then, but the point I really want to make right now is we want to make sure that we're not hedging too low because we're anticipating the market to correct. I don't think that's going to happen in most situations. We don't want to be too high to where buyers look at us as just being ridiculously overpriced and we don't get the showings, we don't get the offers, right? We want to make sure that we're still priced, relative to the market, to the comps, but we're also mindful of, well, which direction is the market going? Is it up or is it down? Is it going to fall? Do we need to be methodical and thoughtful about strategic price reductions, right? These are important things to consider. And these are the conversations we're having with our sellers right now. So please let me know, please let anybody on our team know, if you're interested in having that kind of conversation. There's never an obligation. If you're just curious, or maybe you're doing some planning for next spring. In fact, right now to plan for next spring, right now is a really good time to have that conversation. So again, Ryan Graham, Community Council Realty Group of Keller Williams in town, Atlanta. We're always here to help in any way that we can. So I hope you are well. Talk to you later.